Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Chef again, and today I just want to talk about a little bit of what's going on in the market and just my thoughts on the Amazon ER, where we're currently standing at with that, with the market sentiment and things like that. So, I think one of the first things that I do want to point out is that Facebook did just have earnings. So let's go look at that real quick. And of course, right now it looks like it's green. I'm looking at the weekly chart, by the way, but I'm gonna go on the 4 hour. So Facebook just got smoked on earnings. They're down from the close of 323, currently trading at 250 right now to 244. So this basically just gave up a lot of supply and a lot of demand, right? So what I mean by that is that this whole area now has become a huge area of supply, and the demand never played out the way that it was created. So all that happened was that this was created a nice range here for the past 1, 2, 3, almost 4 months. We broke down, we built a base down here for some demand, only to give us that retest, and then now you see that huge drop for earnings, right? But now this has become a strong supply. The supply just meaning that the reaction of the ER basically confirmed it. Now we do have all night still. Things can turn around, right? And for some of you guys who have puts, congratulations. Those of you who got calls, you knew the risk. But again, that conversation will go both ways, right? If you had calls and this thing went green, congrats. And then if you had puts, well, you knew the risk, right? So the conversation is basically the same. No matter what happens here, you made a choice to either get into calls or to puts, and it's always a 100% gamble. Okay, nobody can ever sit here and say that they know what's going on for earnings, because in reality, none of us know. If you do, you shouldn't be watching this YouTube video, right? You're definitely a market maker and you know what's going on in the market. But apparently, it's not you. So let's go look at Apple real quick and let's check out the earnings. The earnings for this was a little questionable. This thing actually dropped down and then came back up. So it had a decent earnings, and then it's just pushing right now. And right now it's squeezing. I did happen to get into calls for Apple, and I'm a little slight red, but it's not a big deal, right? So just talking about the earnings here, let's go look at Microsoft. And same thing with Microsoft. Microsoft actually came down and faked everybody out. Everybody who had puts, including myself, I had puts. I was so excited. And then the emotional imbalance comes in, and then it just rocks your world at the open because it just recovered real fast. So technically, Facebook can do the same thing. They still have about an hour left to, finish the earnings. We still have overnight. I mean, all kinds of stuff can happen. But again, that thing dropped pretty heavily. And, just giving you guys a little reference as to what is happening right now in the current FANG stocks, right? Netflix was another one that we kind of started off. They kicked it off by giving us a very bad vibe for the earnings. Not only did they give us a bad vibe, a bad sentiment just in general, but the market has been beat down already, and it's been correcting itself for 10%. And I think the Qs corrected about 20%. And there's a lot of stocks out there that just dropped heavily for 52-week lows. So it got a little crazy. And this here, it just, gave some bad vibes, right? And then we had Google, right? Let's go look. Google's the one that gave some hope into the market overnight yesterday. And that's why kind of like we gapped up. It kind of held a lot of strength in the market, and which was pretty amazing. Google announced a 20-to-1 stock split. If you guys don't know, I'm not going to sit here and give you guys all the details, but you guys should go do some research on what that means. And technically, Google's going to be trading at a lower price than 29.60. It's going to be 20-to-1. So I think it's going to be trading around 170, 150 area when they do the stock split. I don't have the exact date for you guys. So like I said, go do some due diligence, right? So good news for Google, that they're doing the split. A lot of you guys who haven't been able to trade Google, you definitely will be able to once that split happens. And speaking for myself, I will definitely 100% start loading up on Google shares just for that reason. Google is an amazing company. I mean, if this thing trades at $100, it's going to be even better. Okay, so just my thoughts on that. So we do have a little positive sentiment in the market right now currently. And the one thing we are waiting for is Amazon. Now, I want to show you guys two things as to why my personal opinion is going to be bearish on Amazon. All right. I'm going to give you some good psychological thinking behind this. None of it is fundamental. I think the fundamentals for Amazon, in my opinion, like I'm not an analyst, I'm not a financial advisor, but I think they're a great company, and just buying Amazon in general and holding it in a long-term portfolio just makes perfect sense for me. So if you guys don't own shares, you guys should be hoping that it does drop, so you can get a good entry point for Amazon. I think a lot of people in general just want to see Amazon fly to like 4K by the end of the year. They want to see it at 5K. But I think a lot of investors in general, they want to see Amazon at a great dip buy opportunity for a good recovery in the market, right? But what I mean by that, like, let's go look at why I'm kind of leaning bearish on Amazon. I really hope that this thing just flies to the moon and carries the market. Okay, that's what I'm really hoping for. But let's go look at this 4 hour. And I want to show you guys this trend line here. It's just been getting smacked down lately. There's been a lot of selling on Amazon, and I think they wanted to bring it down here just for the reason that we could get into some call plays and build a small demand. But again, I think the sentiment in general across the market is kind of like more bearish than bullish, right? It's a questionable bullish sentiment, but at the same time, people are still wanting to play puts because they're leaning bearish. A lot of the big run-ups, a lot of people are still loading up on bearish positions, and the pullbacks are getting a little more aggressive than they were in the past. That's because the aggressiveness is still there, the sentiment is still there for the bearish side, and that's okay. So I think Amazon is one of those tickers where psychologically everyone is thinking to buy calls. Okay, so on a psychological note, it almost looks too easy that the price point makes perfect sense for somebody to load up on earning calls, right? Because you have all this demand right here, right? All these wicks, and then we built on the bottom, and then we clearly came up inside. Right now we're at 29.10. So we're kind of, that green candle, it's not really that big. So we're kind of small. And you already see the clear rejection. It almost looks like it dropped down, came back inside, and then now it's literally just rejecting. So it's respecting its trend. Because it's respecting this trend and it doesn't want to hold above, I think there's a higher possibility that this thing may drop down to this 26, even to this 24. I know it sounds crazy, but I think that would be a opportunity for somebody just to buy. Okay, this whole level down here where we changed price action here and then we created these all-time highs. But I think this would be an ideal target for it. I don't know how much it's going to move, and I'm not here to predict the future of Amazon, but that's a pretty aggressive sell-off if that were to happen, right? Let me see. Right, so all this right here, I'll expect 24.50, even 24. It sounds crazy, guys, I know, but that's just one possibility that can happen on Amazon. And by me giving you this, I'll give you this next reason, right? So leaning a little bit bearish on Amazon because of ES, all right? So like I said earlier, I think a lot of people are still bearish in the market. And because Amazon almost seems too easy to buy calls, I think it's the perfect time to get a good dip buy, okay? And then with that, we do have a bearish trend right here that we talked about in the past, and this trend line that a lot of people had on ES, and then it broke down. And like I mentioned in the previous video, whenever there's a pattern breakout, okay, you get the breakdown and then you get the retest, okay? So on any pattern, on any time frame, it's going to depend on the type of trader that you are. You're either going to enter on the breakout for the momentum, or you're going to come on here and take the dip buy, or you're going to come on here and get the retest play for the way back down to confirm that that pattern break. In this case, what you have is a break of trend. You have the retest now, and then you have the continuation to the downside. So this year, taking all that away, I think a lot of people are going to try to draw this right here. You guys already know what I'm drawing. I don't have to tell you. Okay, something like that. Okay, now it sounds crazy, and I am somebody who is 100% bullish in the market, and I hate trading puts. All right, but that's a possibility that can happen. The possibility that the bears are still in control, because if we don't hold 50% of this candle here, okay, 50% of this previous move, that means that the bears are still in control and we can't get above this 45.60, and we're gonna, you know, reject here. So the next candle here will be a nice rejection, and we'll do something like this, and then we'll look for the base out, you know, base out anywhere inside here. But that would be a perfect spot for Amazon to drop, bring it as a rejection here, and then be able to buy the dip on Amazon and Google and Facebook and Apple and Microsoft and everything back up to the top. Okay, so you know, the example here would be Facebook. I think Facebook is at 250. So Facebook is basically down here. And this is what I'm saying. Like, you're gonna see this huge red candle. And if that Amazon drops and we come inside here, it's going to be a great spot for Facebook to reverse. And it's going to be a great spot for Amazon to reverse. And then you're going to see a pullback on Google, just so you can buy the dip anywhere in here. Okay. So just giving you guys some thoughts. You know, it's nothing technical about it. You guys know I don't trade with indicators. I trade a lot of supply and demand, and you know, sometimes it's a simple thought process of psychology behind something that can potentially happen, and you don't always have to be right, you don't always have to be wrong, but you know, the market does whatever it wants with or without us. And you know, as you can see, this is actually coming down right now, and the sentiment of Facebook actually dropped the NQs, the ES. I mean, it dropped everything, right? So again, I'm not here to tell you guys that we're going to be 100% bearish, not giving any type of signal or anything like that, but look for that possibility. If that does happen, look at it as a opportunity for you to get into Amazon and to start loading up on some leap plays, and you know, buying some shares and things like that. If we were to come down way to this level, I think that would be amazing. I mean, that would be a huge drop. It will be very intense, and it'll bring a lot of bearish sentiment in the markets. But you know, look for it as an opportunity, you know, to buy the dip on something. All right, because if that does happen, I'm gonna come back in here and make another video, and I'm gonna tell you guys exactly where I'm gonna be buying some Amazon and just loading up on shares in general, and looking for more shares for Apple, Microsoft, Facebook. I mean, we have more earnings coming up, like Snap and Twitter, and just a bunch of other tickers out there that are going to be on, you know, sale. It's going to be on, you know, buy the 2-for-1 type of deals where you really don't want to miss out pretty soon. But again, I'm really hoping that that's not the case with Amazon. I'm giving you guys more of the bearish sentiment today, and what to look for if that were to happen. Okay. The other thing is Amazon may drop up, drive back to the top. And if it does that, it'll break this trend line and probably push to this 33. I think the highest it'll go is probably this 34, because there's still a lot of resistance here. That would be my target for the call side. And then this will be my target around this 25 and to 24 area is going to be my target for put side. But again, I think the market does whatever it wants, and this thing can just be flat, honestly, and you know, kill all premiums, you know, up and down, in order to create a nice healthy market still. But again, if Amazon does drive up, I think it'll be healthy for the market in general. And then we're going to start looking for, more bullish plays and setups that way. Either way, this market has a great opportunity to offer on a daily basis. And you don't have to gamble, guys, your money away. I know some of you guys do like to gamble earnings, and it's fun and it's exciting. And, but don't think that that's a consistent play, okay? Look at it as a 100% gamble, no technicals involved, no patterns involved, nothing. Just look at it as a 100% gamble. So again, congratulations to those who took Facebook puts. I actually hesitated on pulling the trigger on this, but I did paper trade it. I took some 290 puts. It's going to be fun to watch, this thing just be in the money and some, but again, it's just gambling. It's nothing too serious. But yeah, guys, I want to give you guys my thought process on that. And, hopefully we have I'm really hoping we do get a stock split for Amazon, and this thing just flies to the moon, and then the market just goes green. And it's just one of those days that creates, an automatic just buy something and let it run, right? Kind of like what happened on Monday. I believe everything just went green. It was like, if you didn't make money on call side, you made tons of mistakes. But yeah, I'll leave you guys with that. Hopefully we check out these earnings, whether we go bullish or bearish. Is going to happen one way or the other. Be ready for both sides, guys. Don't get biased on anything. Just giving you guys an opinion, not financial advice or anything like that. Not an upgrade. I'm not an analyst or anything like that. All right, I'm just a regular guy who's looking at the chart and just talking about some Amazon earnings potential. All right, so stay green, guys. Manage your risk, and I'll see you guys on the next video.